Hey, welcome to my video today, you guys. I am excited to dive in and make a card with you, and we're going to be using this stamp set and die. So I love this set. If you guys watched my haul from the holiday catalog a few months ago when I first got all of my stuff, I was surprised when I was opening my box that this is one of the things that I had picked because it is a little bit more intricate, and I was confused. Like, I didn't even realize these two stamp sets went together, like they were bundled together. They don't necessarily, you don't use the dies maybe with the stamp set as far as like cutting the houses out or anything. I don't think that is the case at all. Maybe you can. I didn't try that out, but it doesn't seem like that works that way. One of the reasons I got this is because of the houses. So I'm always, the last few years, I've been looking for a house stamp set or die that had these little tiny houses on it, mainly for Project Life. So when I saw this, I was like, that will be perfect to have. I'm always trying to think of, like, when I'm buying a stamp set, like, is this something that I would be willing to keep to use with other things? Or is it something that's just going to be very isolated for whatever holiday or project I'm using, and will I probably get rid of it? So this one I felt like had a lot of items that you could use for several different things. It has this great topper, so you could do a tag. It has these houses, it has this church, which is super cute, and these dies are meant to be like where you create a scene, like maybe a snowy hill. I also thought that these would be super cute for fall, like if you did a fall scene with the trees and like some different fall colors in the background. So today I'm going to do a somewhat simple card, and we're going to use the dies. We're going to cut these houses out. So specifically, I'm going to use this house and this house, but we're going to cut it away from this hill border part of the die. And then we're just using a sentiment from the stamp set. But if you just have the stamp set and you don't have the die, you could make this card by stamping the house instead of using the die cut. So let's get started. One of the things I wanted to do for this card is I wanted to bring in some Bermuda Bay, because I feel like I've been using that old olive color quite a bit, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. I've been missing using Bermuda Bay. You guys know I love Bermuda Bay. It's my favorite. So what I'm going to do is I'm starting out here with a Whisper White piece of cardstock, and this is thick Whisper White, so I've scored it using my trimmer, okay? So I've just used this part of my trimmer and I've scored it so that I have a nice fold, because the thick Whisper White cardstock is really thick, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab some of this paper. Now this paper has been out on my desk because I've done several different things with it over the last week. This is the Merry Little Christmas paper, and it has that really great green olive color on the back, and then it has the black and white different items on the other side. So today we're going to use this piece. Now this is cut at 4 1/4 this way, because this is a 4 1/4 card by 5 1/2. So it's going to be this way. And then this length right here is 4 1/4, I believe. But let's measure that just to be sure. I'm sorry, 3 1/4. Because I want to add a piece of Bermuda Bay to the back, and that's going to be 3 1/2. So we'll just layer these together. We are going to pop a couple items up, but these two layers on our card, we are just going to layer down. Okay, so we have this layer, and it's going to go flat onto our card. And I'll use my grid mat to just line up where I want it to go. I'm going to go up a little bit higher, and you'll probably want to stamp your sentiment. I'm going to do it the risky way, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp after I've glued everything down. You might want to do it the other way. We're going to use this sentiment right here, and I'm just using my black ink pad. And it's going to go right in the middle here. Not super bad. Okay, so now let's get started with some of the fun stuff. So what I've done is I've taken my stitched squares, which I rarely use. You guys know I use my circles all the time, but here's the squares. And I want them laid out like this. This is how they're gonna go on the card. But then what I've done is I've taken the die, and you can see that I've just cut it in a bunch of, like, here's my squares, and then I was just cutting that. And when you do it in the middle of the paper like this, you can see it kind of sticks in the paper because it makes that border. So you'd have to snip the sides out to get it out. So what I've done is I've done this in a bunch of different places, and then I've taken gold embossing powder, and I've put that gold embossing powder, I used Versamark, and I just smashed it down on the houses. And then I put gold embossing powder over it. I melted that powder, and now I'm gonna snip these houses out. Now, you could cut these houses out and then add the gold embossing powder. So that would probably save your embossing powder. You can see I've probably wasted quite a bit of embossing powder by doing it this way, but I just wanted to do it quick. Okay, so next for these little houses, what we're gonna do is trim them down. I'm just trying to cut a good straight line here on the bottom. I'm trying to be careful because the scissors and my nails will scrape that embossing powder, and then you'll have a problem. Okay, so now we're gonna take a piece of Bermuda Bay, and we're gonna put Bermuda Bay behind all of these houses. So what I do is I just add adhesive to all of the houses. And I'm gonna add these right to the bottom because then that means there's gonna be less cutting for me to do. Houses cut out and has Bermuda Bay behind it. So now what we can do is just add adhesive to the back of the houses. You could pop these houses up if you wanted. And then what you'll do is just put them onto the squares. This little house, you're gonna put right in the middle. The larger house, you're gonna have to put right down at the stitched edge because it's taller. So hopefully you can see that. Okay, so then just do the other two. And then I've put foam tape on the back of all of these squares. And then what I like to do is just lay these out so I can see how they're lining up and if I need to make any adjustments. This way they're on that foam tape and I can kind of move them around like that. And then I'll just start with one, peel the foam off, put this one down and then press it down. And then I will start all of my other ones. I like to do the corners first and then I can put the other pieces together. So here is my card for today. I think I got these a little crooked, you guys. If you don't press too hard on that foam tape right away, you can pull it up. So there you go. Here is our card. I love that gold embossing. I had all of my one little word stuff out and I was using gold embossing powder and I just wanted to then keep using it. So I thought those houses looked really great embossed. So I hope you enjoyed my card today. This set you can get as a bundle. So you can save 10% if you get these two pieces together. And then if you don't want the dies, you can definitely use the houses to make this card the way I made it. You could just stamp that and you could even gold emboss the stamped part even if it wasn't on the die like that. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Tomorrow I'll have a Halloween post for you guys. I have some treats that I'm giving out and I'll be sharing with you what I have. And I hope you guys are having a great Monday and a start to your week. I'll be back this week with more projects for you guys and I will chat with you later.